They are higher than most Everest routes, yet no rope or footprint dares touch them. Many are off limits because faith forbids it, and others are so remote that even satellite maps struggled to find their names. These virgin peaks are not just unclimbed, they are off limits by decree, tradition, or sheer impossibility. Why are these summits sacred, forbidden, and unreachable, the final blanks on the world's map? The answers begin with the silence that still rules above the clouds. At the heart of Asia, two mountains stand untouched, not by accident, but by choice. Mount Kailash, rising 6,638 meters above the Tibetan plateau, draws pilgrims from 4 religions. For Hindus, it is the throne of Shiva. For Buddhists, the axis of the universe. For Jains, the place where their first saint found liberation. For Bon, the source of spiritual power. Every year, thousands circle its base on a kora of 52 kilometers, crossing high passes and thin air, believing each step purifies a lifetime of karma. But no one sets foot on the summit. Climbing is forbidden, first by tradition, now by Chinese law. In 2001, authorities formalized what pilgrims had always known: the mountain is not to be conquered. Reinhold Messner, the first man to climb all 14 8,000-meter peaks, once turned down a permit, saying that if we conquer this mountain, then we conquer something in people's souls. His words echo the conviction found in the villages and monasteries around Kailash, where the highest act of devotion is to walk humbly in the mountain's shadow. To the south, Machapuchare rises above the valleys of central Nepal. Its twin summits form the unmistakable fishtail that dominates the skyline from Pokhara. Locals call it the home of Shiva too, a place where gods dwell above the clouds. In 1957, a British team led by Wilfred Noyce and Charles Evans came within a few dozen meters of the top. As snow lashed their camp, they held a vote. In the end, every climber agreed the summit would remain untouched. No ropes fixed, no flag planted, no claim staked. Nepal's government has refused every permit since, despite pressure from tourism advocates. The mountain's sacredness outweighs the lure of fame or fortune. Guides and elders tell stories of misfortune befalling those who try to break the taboo. The ban persists, not from fear of avalanches or storms, but from a deeper respect, an unspoken agreement between climbers and the people who live beneath these peaks. For these mountains, restraint is not a weakness, but a kind of strength. The highest honor lies not in standing atop the world, but in knowing when to stop and bow. Faith, not fear, draws the boundary here, reminding even the boldest explorers that some summits are meant only for the gods. Far from any village or marked trail, a cluster of high Himalayan peaks exists in a kind of cartographic twilight. Among them is a summit known to a handful of remote sensing analysts and digital cartographers as Sangong, or sometimes Sanglong. Its name does not appear on most official maps. Its height is estimated at over 7,000 meters, but even that figure is provisional, pulled from satellite data rather than ground surveys. No expedition has ever applied for a permit under this name. There are no summit photos, no route descriptions, no stories of failed attempts. In the public record, Sangong is not just unclimbed, it is unattempted. The reason is not spiritual taboo or political decree. It is pure distance, remoteness, that is pure and unyielding. The borderlands between Nepal and Tibet are a maze of glaciers, hidden valleys, and unnamed ridges. For decades, these mountains remained invisible to all but local herders and wandering traders. Even seasoned explorers had no idea what lay beyond the last inhabited village. That changed at the turn of the millennium, when satellites began to peel back the clouds. NASA's Shuttle Radar Topography mission, launched in 2000, mapped the world's land surface in 3 dimensions. Suddenly, the Himalayas were revealed in digital relief. Analysts scanning the data noticed anomalies, peaks that reached higher than any previously catalogued in the region, yet had no recorded ascents or even names. Later, higher-resolution LiDAR and commercial imagery filled in the gaps, confirming the existence of more than 100 untouched summits above 7,000 meters across the Himalayas and Karakoram. Satellites had opened a new map. A remote sensing specialist put it simply: satellites have found mountains that no one has ever set foot on. They are blank spaces on the map. No footprints, no flags, not even a rumor of a route. Sangong stands as the emblem of this new frontier. Unlike the sacred giants, its silence is not chosen but enforced by geography. No border post, no ban, just a wall of ice and distance. In mountaineering terms, it is the difference between unclimbed and unattempted. One, a record of failure; the other, a record of absence. As technology sharpens our view, the list of such peaks grows. Yet the reality on the ground remains unchanged. Some summits are so remote, so unmapped, that ambition itself has yet to find them. For now, Sangong and its neighbors remain as they have always been, names whispered in digital code, untouched by human hands. Tongshan rises along a border that exists more on paper than on the ground. At 7,207 meters, it is one of the highest unclimbed peaks on Earth, yet no climber has ever set foot on its summit. The reason is not weather or technical difficulty, but a deadlock between governments. On the Bhutanese side, a permit officer sits behind a desk stacked with forms that will never be approved. Since 2003, Bhutan has refused all mountaineering on its high peaks, citing the need to protect sacred lands and preserve harmony. From the north, the Tibetan side falls under Chinese military jurisdiction. Here, the mountain is folded into a security zone, its ridges patrolled by soldiers, not surveyors. Even the exact position of the summit is disputed, with maps from each side drawing the border in different strokes. Expeditions that inquire about routes are met with silence or polite refusals. One Himalayan Association of Japan application vanished into a bureaucratic void, never officially denied, never granted. Farther west, the Siachen Glacier is a world where the high ground is measured in meters of snow and years of conflict. Apsarasa's Kangri Waim stands at 7,245 meters, untouched since its height was first measured by Indian Army surveyors in the 1980s. Here, the ambition to climb has been erased by the presence of troops. Since 1984, the glacier has been the site of the world's highest battlefield, with thousands of soldiers braving avalanches, frostbite, and artillery fire. A soldier's diary from a winter patrol describes peaks looming above the trenches, silent and unreachable. In this landscape, the question is not how to climb, but how to survive. Permits are denied by default, and even the thought of a civilian expedition is unthinkable. The mountain's tolerance is enforced by lines on a map and the echo of gunfire, not by its own defenses. In these places, borders and conflict have turned ambition into a memory, leaving the summits to the wind and the snow. Gangkhar Puensum rises 7,570 meters above the borderlands of Bhutan and Tibet. Its summit is hidden behind clouds and the weight of centuries. In the early 1980s, Bhutan briefly opened its mountains to foreign expeditions. 4 teams tried to reach the top between 1983 and 1986. None succeeded. Some turned back on the maze of glaciers and ridges. Others reached a subsidiary peak, close enough to glimpse the main summit, but not to stand on it. The mountain's main crest remained untouched, its slopes unmarked by ropes or crampons. Then in 1994, Bhutan's government issued a ban on all climbs above 6,000 meters. The reason was not technical difficulty or border disputes, but the conviction that these mountains are the homes of powerful deities. In 2003, the restriction became absolute. All mountaineering was prohibited, regardless of height. The official rationale spoke of cultural preservation, spiritual harmony, and the need to keep sacred places undisturbed. In practice, the ban made Gangkhar Puensum the highest unclimbed mountain on Earth. A Bhutanese monk once described the mountain as the seat of local protector spirits, beings who watch over the valleys below and must not be disturbed. He said, "To climb there would be like entering the temple's innermost shrine without invitation." The decision to leave the summit untouched has become an act of national will. In a world that measures achievement by flags and footprints, Bhutan chose a different legacy. Here, the silence above the clouds is not a defeat, but a deliberate gesture of respect, a reminder that some heights are better left to the spirits and the wind. Today, dozens of the world's highest peaks remain untouched, not because of lack of skill, but because of the force of belief, borders, and conflict. As global exploration accelerates, these summits remind us not every frontier is meant to be crossed. Some heights are protected for reasons that still challenge our ambitions.